Hey, welcome to I Golf and I Make Stuff, the channel where I make some stuff about golf and some stuff about other things. This is going to be a quick, well, maybe not quick, you can skip through. It's going to be a rundown of how I make these golf simulator control boxes that I do. I think that's the TGC. We have a black GSPRO, another GSPRO. So these STLs will be free online. You need an IDEX printer to do it, unless you want to change colors. I think if you just print the box and then change colors after 2 layers, I made it. If you print in, I'll put all the links to my printables and how you do it in the description here, and then on how you do it on the printables page for the settings for the STL. If not, everything will be linked in the description. I think I'll have you guys be able to buy this part here. So we'll do this one we'll do this. So this is the brains of the operation. This is the mouse, and it has a little USB dongle that plugs into your computer. So AA in this one. Depending on what version you get, I think they are moving to 2 AAAs in here and 1 AA for this. But right now, this one's a AAA. So today we are going to make a TGC version. Actually, we'll probably make 2 because I already have this one built up. We're going to do the full thing, and then we're going to kind of break down the type of kits that I'm going to be able to sell in order to save you guys a lot of money. Depending on how good you are at soldering. You can see, obviously, soldering is very, very small soldering. I am going to get rid of that. I am in development with making a plug-in for this chip that will just go on this board and just boop, plug it in, and you're good to go. No soldering at all. I can solder these in about 10 minutes, but it took me a while to get there. They get ruined really fast. So this is the board. They go in here, but first we're going to show you how to prep your board, show you how hard, everything really is, so you can decide what level of kit and your expertise, because when I do the soldering and I put it all together, that's going to be a little bit, more in the kit. So let's get into the soldering part. All right, so here we go. I'm going to show you what we do. I got everything kind of laid out. Hopefully you can watch this on a big screen and see. I got my chip here, and I have already mapped everything out, so I know what each of these, what you do is you short 2, you're shorting 2 of these across each other, and it creates like a Q or an X or an enter, and I mapped everything out, and I'll share that as well. So my countless hours of work is your gain. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to solder, or I'll show you what we're soldering on. So again, I'm working on redesigning these boards. I designed this board in order to have your buttons fit right in there, and then they click and it makes the contact points up here where this is. Man, I'm bad at hitting that camera angle, huh? So this is going to get soldered here, and again, eventually it's just going to be click in, so there's no soldering, and then you still have to solder these in. Thing is, I tried to make them pressure fit, but it's just not strong enough, so it's just a little bit of soldering. They go in there, they fit in the box, kind of cool. So what we're going to do, depending on your kit, you can just skip along depending on where you're at. So here, let's see, there we go. What you need to do is you need to get this stuff that's off the top so you can solder onto it. So I just take like a little nail file. And you don't want to do too much because you'll scrape it all the way off. So you just kind of want to get down to the copper. So I go ahead and I take like a flux pen, not really sure what this is actually doing, but Okay. Now you got a little bit of copper there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pre kind of tin these areas with my solder. You don't have to do a lot. It just kind of helps it stick, help your wires stick later if you're doing this. Okay. And because this one is a single AAA, we're going to use this little thing. You can get them on Amazon. Again, I can include it in the kit. So I'm going to solder it. There is a plus and a minus. And again, you have this board. And then this is probably what you're going to get. It's the same thing. It has the same map, but it's a little bit bigger to solder onto. And again, red and black you solder on. And I can do that too if that's going to be part of the kit. Again, there'll be varying levels here. So you guys can choose. Going to go ahead and solder this on. Raspberry Pi battery case, huh? All right. I'm going to pop this in just to make sure we light up. Get a couple lights here. Blinky, blinky. Okay, it blinked for a minute. That's all we needed. Just to make sure I soldered that right. Now, all of this is from experience of ruining countless boards of soldering. So now I'm going to take this glue gun and I'm going to cover these terminals. Because if any solder or if anything gets across there, you'll fry that board in a heartbeat, and then it's garbage and you throw it away and you buy a new $20 board. So, well, depending on how much, we're charging. So that's going to dry. When we come back, we'll start soldering. I'll show you how we do this. Okay, so I got my board here. We're going to glue this on to right here to line up with all my things here. There are little holes, so you can solder right into the little holes if this is the way you choose to go. I have my keyboard press tracker up, so I know what I'm hitting, so I can kind of test along. You really want to test along the way, especially when you're just getting used to it, because if you're soldering, bring you down here. You guys can come closer. If you're soldering here and a little bit of solder jumps and lands on these control boards on this chipset, it'll render it useless. Now, I have fixed one using some solder remover, but a lot of times you just ruin them. It's taken me a while to get to this point where I don't ruin them anymore. So again, hot glue is your friend. Don't need a lot on this part because you're going to hot glue everything down later. I want it as close as I can to the holes, lined up, push down. Okay. Now we're attached to that board. So now how this works is these traces go all the way up to each one of these corresponding holes, which is then soldered to here. So what I did is, if you can see, I went ahead and I mapped, like, so what are we doing? TGC with mouse. GSPRO, okay. So this is the map. So if you short 1 and 22, you get escape. 5 and 23, you get M, and so on and so forth. So I just went through, and maybe I'll put a snippet of that video in there. I just sit there and I short those over and over again. And I say 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, and then whatever it hits, it gives me these. So then, in order to create this board, I went ahead. This is how I kind of mapped everything out. Obviously, you can't have lines touching, so we have front and back. Red is the front, and then they attach up there. And then I went ahead and I measured everything out meticulously with my calipers, and I got everything precise. So when this goes in the box, it lines up perfectly with those holes and these little paddle things. That was a B. That was a bad word to do. It just sucked. It's fun. Cool. All right. So that's that. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to solder these now, and we'll time lapse it for a minute. You can watch. I have 2 different solders I like to use. I don't know why. This generic solder seems to work for the board, and then something like this or whatever works. This thinner stuff works to go on the up here. It just seems to melt in better. Whatever. It is what it is. So I have all these little wires, and I just strip out. I rip it off. So I have that little wire. Now again, I'm trying to get rid of this so people don't have to do it, but this is how I do it now. So cut it. All right, we're back. So I have it all soldered. That took me a few minutes. Lots of skill. Your mileage may vary on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mouse. Again, your mouse, your board might differ. I got different ones that are better and cheaper to source. So I'm going to plug it into my test bench laptop here. It's be kind of hard to show you guys what's going on, but try and show you here the best I can. You're going to have to bear with me and just kind of believe me, maybe you can see it up in this corner here where we're going to go. So I'm going to go here, and my map is going to tell me, remember, this is reversed. You push it in, then you flip it over. So although my map, see, Q is here on the actual board, Q is on the other side. Scout. So we're just going to go ahead and see if we work. Q. E. V. Enter. R. So this is going to be W and S, because in TGC 2019, you want W and S so you can move your ball after a drop. You can move your ball backwards, or forwards towards the water, or backwards as far as you want, I think. But so W and S allows you to do that. You can't do that with up and down. So W, S, and then these are just right and left. So that's right. Here's left. Okay, then we'll go to escape. X and Z for club up and club down. So that's it working. It works pretty well. Now we'll go into the box. If you guys buy this kit, this is where you'll want to start. So if you've been watching the entire time, that's awesome. If you've been skipping, that's awesome too. So, but this is where this portion will start on how we solder it into the box. Just to show you, this mouse here works with that same little dongle that I plugged in. The dongle's just right there, a teeny tiny little thing. So mouse works with the keyboard, everything, so it's all one little unit. All right, so we're gonna make green box white buttons. I buy these bulk through a supplier. If you get them on Amazon, they're like between $10 and $12 for 10, and you have to buy, then you have to buy 2 packs. So I think what I'll do is I'll end up selling these for about 15 bucks for all 13, 15, 20, well, probably 15, save you money, right? So then you don't have to buy the big packs. So we're gonna make green box, white buttons. So we have the box here. This is always a little bit tricky. Again, I don't want that. Oh, hey, so since we work, my bad. I am going to cover this in glue to lock everything in since we work. Hot glue is your best friend. I love hot glue. It's so cool. Basically just secures all those tiny connections because solder doesn't always hold when people are kicking it around. Okay. All right. Again, so new boards, I'm going to have it so it screws down too. So there's going to be a lot of iterations of this until I get it, where I want, and then I'm probably still going to iterate and make it better, cheaper, over time. Make it faster, so it kind of pans out and makes it worthwhile for me to do this. So let that kind of get on there. I'm going to take my box. These are specifically, I designed these boxes from the ground up many times over to be a good thickness. The buttons fit in there perfectly. This sits right on top here, and then your cover goes over the top. I'm going to make it so it screws in at some point, but again, just not, we're getting stuff out. We're making cool stuff. That's what we're doing. So this goes in here like that. Remember, then everything will be backwards. Man, I am bad at this filming thing. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. All right. So this is a tricky part. Again, I keep saying I'm going to iterate, but I will cut holes. I'm probably going to have to drill a hole in this in order to get my fingers in there, because if you don't line these up exactly perfectly, they don't snap in. So let's see, how can I show you guys all of this? So if I put that button in, the button fits in there. Oop, I got the battery in. Oh, don't need you. Okay. Battery's out. So now what I do is I take this, and I solder that button in there, and it holds really well. So you might ask, hey, why don't you make your supports shorter so your button, your paddles fit farther in? Well, the thing about these buttons, if you look at it here, if I bend this pin ever so slightly and then push it, see how it sticks? Even if I go here. See, it sticks in kinda, so watch. Push the pin, sticks, right? So if I have it in farther, and believe me, I did. I had it all designed that way. This is like iteration 100 of this. Maybe not that much, but I've iterated a lot. So that's why they're so high. That's why they barely fit in, so we can keep the clickiness. So go ahead, and I'm going to get these buttons in. I'll bring you back in when I can. Bring it back in here for some more explanation. If you get these kits, they are going to be sold as is. They are hard to put these buttons in so far, especially here. When you put these in, they need to go exactly straight up and down, and then you need a fiddle. You can look through these in order to see where you're going to hit, but getting them exactly where they need to be is kind of hard. So just be aware of that when you're buying these kits. You have to be a pretty good DIYer. So that's going to be it for this little bit here. Yeah. Okay, welcome back. So I'm all done here. Got that all in. What we're going to do is we're going to double check. We have the back plate. We got the battery cover. What I like to do is when you glue this on, have the spring that way towards the control board. You want to make sure it's below everything. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put my cover on, kind of make sure we're going to be able to hit that. Again, hot glue is your friend. On plastic, it sticks awesomely. Make sure everything's in there. Push down so you're not. Make sure your cover is going to fit, right? Okay, everything's pushed in. Get in there. What are you doing? Yeah, we're going to put glue on that. Again, if you want to make fun of my methods for using hot glue, do it all you want. But man, it works. You buy any 3D printers, anything from wherever, all their electronics are glued with hot glue. It's just a versatile, insulating awesomeness. Make sure we got a lot on there because you'll push that battery in. This can drip anywhere. We don't care what the inside of this board looks like, right? Okay. Go ahead and these are number 6 1/2-inch screws. That's what fits in here. And then I think these are 4 by 1/2. Oh, no. Okay. So 4 by 1/2 are these. The ones that go in most of them, but I think I redesigned it already. This is an older, for some reason, this hole is bigger than the rest. So you have to use another one, but that's fine. I did redesign the back plate to be a little bit better on the new ones. So we're going to go ahead and pop this on. Get the old LTT screwdriver going, and then we're just going to put this in. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop this in. Ooh, and we're hitting buttons. Okay. Battery cover goes on. And then we'll go play a game. All right, just to show you we can interact with the game here, you can start everything from right here. So I have the box. We'll put it right here. Ooh, I hit a button on accident on the keyboard, but I just want to make sure you guys can see this. So, see, we can do whatever we want, or we have the mouse, so that works too. You know, but let's say you're over there, you don't have your mouse. You want to do a local match. You can change course. You can find anything highly rated. Let's go. This one looks neat. Change anything you want. We'll do create match. Blue tees. We can do begin round. So you can pretty much use this to start anything. Quick side note here for the GSPRO versions. The GSPRO Mulligan, because that's what everyone wanted. In the hotkeys, it's 2. You have to hit Control and M. So this hole right here, that's the 14th button. You're going to have a little button here. And I'll send this too. This might be, you know, like an extra couple bucks because their buttons are kind of expensive. So what you'll do is I'll solder 2 leads onto that, and you'll just solder those 2 leads into these holes, and it just goes right into this board here. Just pushes in and you glue it in on the inside. And then you end up, I don't have a GSPRO version unwrapped right now, but you get the picture. It's just that little button there. So when you do a mulligan, you hit mulligan and that little button, and it gives you a mulligan. So that's the only difference with the GSPRO version. And that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed and you want me to be able to keep doing this type of stuff and building things and making them cheap and maybe more entertaining videos, please like and subscribe. Never said that in a video, but it'd be nice to have, you know, more than a couple subscribers. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to launch this after sitting for that amount of time and just see what happens. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe.